Welcome to Put a Word on It, a podcast presented by Men of Valor. In each episode, we're going to talk with a different man, but each one with a unique journey from brokenness to freedom. I'm your host, Rudy Kalis. I spent over 40 years as a TV sportscaster, then retired and joined the Men of Valor program as a volunteer, so join the conversation. Reconciling men to God, their families, and society. Welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It, brought to you by Interstate AC. Brandon DeBerry is a young man I want you to get a chance to meet right now. It's always interesting how many of us, I think I grew up, I felt like I was a follower. People would tell me what to do, and in order to be accepted, I would follow them and do things I had no business doing. In my case, it didn't lead into prison, but in Brandon's case, it did. It's a life that he had to fight his way out of before he realized who he really was. Brandon, when you came in and sat down and then told me this incredible story about what was the illness that you had?
I have myasthenia gravis.
I had heard of it, but you couldn't lift your head
No,
and you
sir.
couldn't lift your arms.
No, so I had no function on my arms. I couldn't hold my head up. I couldn't even hardly swallow. I had to have a man sit with me when I eat because I had to strengthen my neck to swallow my food.
Did it just happen all of a sudden?
Yes, sir. It happened when I was in prison. Yes, sir.
All right. We're going to go back to that, but then tell me about how long this lasted, and did you think it was going to be for the rest of your life?
I thought it was going to be for the rest of my life, and it actually lasted I went through it all together for a little over a year.
You went to a doctor? What did the doctor say?
The doctor, first thing when I ended up going to the doctor, first thing the doctor told me was I had ALS.
ALS?
Yes, sir, and only gave me 2 to 5 years to live.
And what did that do to you? What did you feel like?
I felt like he was wrong, At the moment, I was like, it couldn't be. But then once he told me that he diagnosed this disease with about a 85 to 90% accuracy, I was like, I was just lost of words, and I just laid there. Just to be honest, I didn't know what to say.
Was there any part of you said, Lord, 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 help me?
Yeah. I was like, Lord, please don't let this be true. But like I said, I was still, kind of loss of words. It really had to just sink in.
And what happened? How this guy here is healthy. What happened?
Yes, sir. I ended up staying in the hospital for 5 days total, and then came home with just a simple cycle of prednisone and some antibiotics and vitamins and stuff like that. And within 15 days, my head popped back up, arm function started coming back, and then within 30 days, I went back for a checkup, and that was clear to even start back working out within 30 days without no surgery, without nothing. And it's crazy because at the time, they still didn't even have a diagnosis for me. They didn't know what it was.
But did it make you a real man of faith?
Very real man of faith, because the whole time when I was in the hospital, after I let the diagnosis of an ALS in 2 to 5 years, got to sinking in, it made me really accept the will of God, is what it did.
Is that something you've had to learn? You've had quite a journey then in life. Tell me about, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a little small town, Trenton, Tennessee.
Yeah, know of it.
Yes, sir.
What kind of kid were you?
I was kind of a trouble kid. I had ADD, ADHD really bad when I was from a very young age, and I had to take a lot of medications for it, and I was kind of singled out as a young kid, even in school. I was called over the intercom to come to the office to take my medication. And, young kids hearing teachers talk and stuff like that, it was like, oh, he going to have to go take his crazy meds or this, this. And then, like, even in the classes and stuff, when teachers would give reviews, the other kids get the questions right, they would get candy, but I wouldn't get nothing but a cracker. So from a very early age, I felt like I didn't fit in.
Did it make you want to be a troublemaker?
It made me feel like that's what I was on this earth to be, to be a troublemaker. And honestly, from a very young age, seeing family members go to prison for different things, I felt like I told myself at a very early age that, like, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is my role. I'm here to sell drugs, commit crimes. I'm just gonna be the outlaw. That's why I'm here, and I'm supposed to go to prison.
What kind of serious trouble did you get into that sent you to prison?
I got caught with drugs and a gun,
Selling?
selling drugs and a gun. After after going through there at a young age, I started selling drugs at a real early age and using drugs at a real early age, trying to fit in. Started got involved with gangs, trying to fit in. So I just kind of built around myself with just a entourage of like people using drugs and gangs and stuff like that, trying to fit in with the people, just trying to fit in basically whenever I could.
How much time did you do?
I ended up doing 2 years total, because I had a 10-year sentence, but when I went in, I was blessed enough, through prayer and stuff, that God sent me straight to TCOM, and I became president of TCOM.
You did?
Yes, sir. I became president of TCOM and got released and got granted parole on my safety valve, my first time going up. So I was really blessed with that.
There's some guys get jailhouse religion. All of a sudden the door slams shut and man alive, and then they're talking about God and all, but then they get out and say, hey, thanks a lot, I'm out of here. What's made it stick with you? Because you've come here, you've got the Men of Valor, which you're fortunate to have done. You've gone through the whole program. Not everybody does that. Why do you think it stuck with you?
One thing, the numerous times that I know it couldn't have been God, nobody but God, that brought me through before I even got to the point of going to jail. And I don't have enough time here to sit here and tell you about all the glorious things God has done for me in my life, that brought me even to the point to where I went to jail. But when I went to jail, it's a pastor that came in and he told me, he said, why don't you do one thing for me? He said, why don't you just give them a try? He said, you can always go back to what you know. And so I took that and I was like, you know what, he right. So I just started praying. I was raised in the church and stuff like that, but I always went my own way, so I just started doing what I felt like, how I felt like I needed to pray. You know what I mean? I started praying, reading the Bible, just doing the best I could, going down to the little church call when they have church call and stuff like that. And I heard another preacher say, you just keep coming. And that's what I did. I just kept going. I just kept coming. And then it just, over a slow period of time, just stuff started sinking in. And everything they were saying, it was like stuff that my grandfather, who was a pastor, and my parents and stuff like that was telling me a long time ago. And it just started sinking in. And as I continued to pray, God just started showing itself to me through so many different ways, just by bringing me the way he brought me through prison. It was like I prayed, it was step after step after step. I went to prison affiliated. I asked God to keep me at Bledsoe County, where they had a little bit more control over their prison system, because I didn't want to go into another prison system and have to get on the wrong type of time, get on those kind of, because I wanted to be done with the gangs, basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And God blessed me to keep me there. And I went from classification straight to a work pod, straight to TCOM, became president of TCOM, got granted my granted parole, and then after TCOM, graduated TCOM, went straight to the annex, and I was home in 2 months. It was just step after step after step, and it wasn't nothing but prayer.
Some people don't see that. They don't look back and see the things in their life that the God saved them from. You might not be alive today if you hadn't gone to prison.
No, sir. Prison was the best thing that happened to me.
Best thing to happen to you.
Prison was the best thing that ever happened to me.
And it gets you out, and now you're sitting here, and you're involved. You go through the program, and you become a house manager here. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like all of a sudden you are worth something now?
Yes, sir. I really feel like I am worth something now. You know what I mean? I have guys that I talk to and I try to encourage, you know what I mean? I feel like I have a purpose now, you know what I mean? Now I know that my purpose wasn't to go to prison. And I feel like now it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It gives you a powerful story.
Yes, sir.
If you have gone through what you did, you go to prison, you come out, you change as a man, people will look at you. Now you've got to be consistent though, right?
Yes, sir. That's one of the biggest things for me is consistency in my walk.
Yeah.
You know, man, I can't just go and share a lot of scripture to a lot of guys and stuff like that. But one thing I can do is walk the walk and let them see it.
Ooh, man, you're good. You know, the program has put a word on it.
Yes, sir.
Have you got a word for me?
Yes, sir. My word is set apart. Deuteronomy 14:2. You have been set apart as holy to the Lord, your God, and he has chosen you from all the nations of the earth to be his own special treasure.
All right, tell me why. I like that.
Because we're all wonderful and beautifully made, you know. And I feel like it's a lot of young guys who coming up in different areas, you know, different ethnicities and stuff like that they feel like they got to fit in with what they see going on around them. But you don't have to do that. It's okay to be set apart, and God wants us and made us to be set apart from the world.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
That's nice. You've got a powerful story, Brandon. You walk the walk, stay true. You're going to change lives.
Yes, sir.
All right, my friend. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed Brandon. You know what? My mind was racing when he said, the doctor said, you've got ALS. You've got 2 to 5 years. I've worked with that organization for 10 years. I understand it. I've been around it. It's a death sentence. And to just arbitrarily put that out there for this young man, he had to fight that inside of himself. Thank the good Lord, it was a miracle from God above, and it's a miracle that has changed Brandon's life, and it's a miracle that's going to stay in his life for the rest of his life. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time as we put a word on it.